Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Let's see who we got here. We're going to do a very short live this morning because they're going to do a press conference. And I don't know if I'll be live during the press conference or after, but either way, we are going to do this. Hello, Janice. Welcome. Let's see what this is. If you can, please, can you explain to people that they can still get the death? Listen, honey, I've already told them that over and over and over again. You can carry a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. They can be in the thirsty desert and you can't make them drink. I said that from day one. I said it last night. People, listen. I read it in the law last night as well. You can still get the death penalty. That is a fact. They still have the death penalty there in California. But Newsom, until he's gone, he wrote a little note, a memorandum. He said, no, we're not doing this. I also read on the California law last night that said, yes, you can still be sentenced in California to the death penalty. So I hope that answers everybody's questions. I cannot make nobody understand that no clearer. I've been saying that since day one. Ray Charles can read that out of the law. They can know what's going on. Just saying. But anyway, let's get to it. All right. Hello, everybody. Janice, thank you for being here. Susie, Lady Q, Donna Smith, Tina. I'm trying to see. Y'all, my glasses don't come in for 10 freaking days. 9, 8. I'm counting down the days now. Never heard anybody who'd be so happy. And I just put eye drops in my eyes. So I never do that. But anyway, let's see. I'm trying here. I'm trying. Leslie, keep it real. Always. Hello. Let's see. Clementine, hello. Okay, who we got here? Y'all, I'm sorry. Y'all welcome if you're new. Smiley's crazy here. You never know what you're going to get over a Smiley. You just don't. All right, hold on a minute. I'm sorry. Clementine, hello. Let's see. Janice, Gloria. Baby kisses. Hi, honey. Glad to see you. Leslie, keep it real. Hello to everybody across the board. Hello to everybody across the board. So I just wanted to do a quick live on here today because I was seeing and hearing they've asked me to, okay, or so we're just going to get into this a little bit. I won't make it long and drawn out, but it does look like that we don't know for a fact. They can change their mind on a dime, honey, over there in California. I don't know what's going on, but they are, it looks like they're heading towards a joint trial. Well, first of all, I want to know, have y'all ever heard of the burden rule? The burden rule is if Jake gave a confession, okay, that implicates Rebecca. She has the right to cross-examine Jake. Okay, that's the burden rule. Okay, she will have the right. So I'm telling y'all, this is going to be a wild case, no matter how you look at it, honey. And I think these two are going to show their butts every chance that they get. But anyway, this is a law. It's a burden rule in California. And I just want to know if you heard at it. And it's went to the Supreme Court and everything else. But if Jake gave a confession, and that's a big if, or if he implicates Rebecca, she has the right to cross-examine him. If he refuses to testify, that joint trial can violate her rights. So the judge has the right to then separate the trials. Listen, this case is already the most heartbreaking case, wildest case, but it's the most heartbreaking for baby Emmanuel. But it's going to be one you better buckle your seatbelts on. That is a fact. That's a fact. So it does look like they're going to do it together, but if they do it together, it's going to be explosive. Y'all can just expect that. If they split it, it could mean finger pointing. I think finger pointing's already kind of started. Not on her part. She's sticking to her story. Hey, Annabella. Hey, Adam. I think she's sticking to her story, and she is standing by her man no matter what. I don't know, though. In court yesterday, they say she didn't look at him one iota. He did look at her, but she didn't look at him. If she saw that news where he went out, maybe she believes, hey, this SOB, this is talking and turning on me, this MFer. I'm just saying. Maybe she's giving him the cold shoulder. Just saying. But it could mean finger pointing, backstabbing, and even one testifying against the other. And yes, they can do that in California, even though they're married. Okay, we'll get to that at another smiley law school session. I'm just saying. School's in. Either way, justice has to be served, and it will be. I have no doubt that it will be, okay? And we'll be right here, and I appreciate each and every one of you and your support, because we're going to be right here. We'll break it down to the best of my knowledge, honey. We'll break it down, but I got some great people helping. I do my research myself, but I got mods that help me as well now, and we're getting our team together. We're growing our channel. We're doing these things right, and we're doing what's important, okay? And so look, it is what it is, but we do these things for the babies. I do. I don't know about you, but I do. Look, I saw these people talking, and it's leaning a lot towards a joint trial, of course, and they brought them in together and all that stuff, but I think it is going, but it could go either way. Now, here's where it goes. In California, the law says if two people are charged with the same crime, they get tried together, period. Unless a judge steps in to split it apart for whatever reason. That means right now, the default, this trial is a joint trial, okay? Prosecutors hate it, though. They don't. I mean, they love it. Prosecutors love it. Defense attorneys hate it. Defense attorneys hate it. But the prosecutors and the judges, they love it. They want it. It saves time, and it saves money. It saves sometimes witnesses, so they're all about that, especially Californian people, because they're always saying they're broke. So they love when they can get a joint trial. And I'm not being mean. That's just the way it is. It paints the full picture when both parents do something to a child. a baby, and a crime, they want them together. They don't want two juries hearing two different versions. But the defense hates it. They hate it. And they never, ever like joint trials. Now, I'm going to be real about it. Rebecca and Jake may turn on each other. They may already starting to be, but I don't know. I don't think so. She's standing by her man regardless. Okay? But Rebecca might say, for example, Jake was violent. She might get it in her head, oh, he went out to the scene. He did this, he did that. Or her attorney may tell her, look, because they can't represent both, but and they're that's a whole nother story. But anyway, they'll have two different attorneys, okay? But they might say your best interest is going to be abuse or DV or something like that. Now, she might later on say, well, Jake was violent and I was scared and I this and I that, when she finds out her butt's really in the hot seat, okay? And it's no more fun and games, and she knows they got what they got, and after discovery comes in and all that stuff. But if that happens, their lawyers can file what's called a motion to sever, asking for separate trials. Now, it don't mean the judge is going to do that, but that's what they can file for. Another biggie is Jake already has a child abuse conviction in his past. And if the jury hears about that, it could rub off on Rebecca. See, they don't want that to happen, even by accident. And you know how those little slips come up? Things come out of people's mouths that's not supposed to. That's why they say, strike that. Jury, you're not supposed. But let me tell you something. Once you hear something, you can't unhear it. Hey, Robin, and everybody coming in, Loretto. You know, you can't unhear it, though. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care how honest you are. I don't care what jury you're on. And I don't care if you're standing in front of God. Once you hear it, you can't unhear it. You just can't. But if the jury hears about that, see, and that's going to play, that will play in Jake's favor. I feel like his attorney will try to keep them together. His will. Because if the jury hears about that, it could rub off on Rebecca. And in the America, in our world, that would be what? Unfair. Although I don't give a freak if it's fair or not for her. What about baby Emmanuel? Hey, Don. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Hold on a minute. What you saying, Don? Because of that jail interview, how can any lawyer dig her out of a good old guy? Exactly. She's good. I think she is too. And she's done, look, she done messed. I think her, Sylvia, and the grandma, they always running that mouth about that kidnapping. Fake kidnapping, excuse me. The hoax. Every one of them made it, you know, that's why if you do something, I'm just saying, don't go out and do nothing. But if you do something, you don't need all these people involved, honey. You just don't. You're better on your own. But many high-profile cases and complex cases in California have involved joint trials, particularly those involving conspiracy, fraud, or organized crime. A joint trial occurs when multiple defendants are charged with the same offenses or, the same circumstances or when they're tied together. And this one definitely is that. Unless a motion to sever the cases is successful, but it has to be successful. Now, remember, it's been done before in California. There's many, too many for me to name. But if you remember, there was the Mendez brothers, Lau and Eric Menendez. Okay. They were tried together back in 1989. Now, that, they gunned down their parents, both of them in Beverly Hills over there. The outcome to that trial the first time was it got a hung jury. It didn't work out so well. But they separated them, and in 1996, both brothers were convicted of first-degree murder. Okay? But then you had Charlie Manson and the Manson family back in the 70s. Charlie Manson and several of his followers, Susan Atkins, all those, a bunch. The family, honey, they brought the whole dang family. The monster family it is. The Manson family, y'all. Y'all know, y'all never forget that. Anyway, but that one ended with all of them, the co-defendants. They received death sentences. It was later commuted to life in prison, but they received that, all of them. So it does work. And again, it saves money. They like that. They like that kind of thing. This is already one of the most heartbreaking cases we've seen. Baby Emmanuel deserves truth. He deserves justice. If they go to trial, it's going to be explosive. I'm telling you, explosive. If they split it, it could be finger pointing, backstabbing, and it could linger on for a long time. I'm just saying, and I don't think they want that. But either way, justice is going to be served. Let's play. I got one video that I want to play this morning. I haven't had a chance to do a lot this morning, but I want to play this one video. I got to play music on this one. Got to play some music. I think I'm just going to get a different music tune right here. We're going to play that one. Lots of copyright. I'm sure we're going to be commentating a little bit. Criticism. This is for learning, though. We learn a lot. This is News Nation. I don't know if they want us playing their stuff or not, but they've always been good. They've been good to our channel, and I don't, I'm not gonna worry with it too much. This one is Brian Etten, and he's a good reporter, but I want to listen to this, and so that's what I'm going to do. If I can find out, oh, here it is. So give full credit not only to News Nation, but to Brian Etten, and we're going to watch this one video because I know people has questions about this, and I haven't even watched this, to be honest. I watched about a little bit of it, not all of it. I'm saying I watched some of it, not all of it. So I'm going to watch that full thing with you, okay? The full thing. So we're going to see what I was told.
New information about the baby Emmanuel murder case out of California. Baby Emmanuel's father, sources tell me, Jay Caro, told a fake inmate in the jail that he killed baby Emmanuel and put the baby in a trash can in his house. Let me repeat that again. Sources say that Jay Caro told a fake inmate in the jail that he killed baby Emmanuel and put the baby in a trash can.
Okay, but I did have one question to that. If he did that and that was true, then why did they have him on the scene at the where they took him out in the woods or the mountains, unless they were trying to find the weapon, and that's where they put the weapon. But my question is, we've heard no search of landfills. Well, I don't know if Don knows or not, but I wouldn't believe anything this man says, because he lied. There was clothes in the trash can dumpster. So, but why would they put him in the trash can? So I don't know. Again, I think a lot of this was for show, but I'm going to continue. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'm trying to watch y'all, but just let's go. I just wanted to make sure you understood my thoughts on that.
In his house. You might be wondering how police got this information. This is part of what I'm told is called a Perkins operation. A Perkins operation, which is when police use a fake inmate to try to get information out of someone who has been arrested and who is inside the jail. This Perkins operation came after, I'm told, Jay Caro confessed to police that he rolled over in bed and killed the baby by accident and then buried the baby. So that is what Jay Caro told police, which is why he took police to that spot out along the freeway. This video that we have that shows him out there.
Okay. I don't mean to stop this. He's a good reporter, but I'm just commentating, okay? I do want to say this, okay? I want to say this. And this is coming from me, Smiley. But you can't put a fake image. See, this is where whoever's sending the information to creators or news people or whatever, you can't say, I mean, there's informants. Yes, there's informants. Was it an informant they're talking about? You can't just put a fake, just say informant, okay? But again, I don't know. This has happened overnight, and Smiley was getting some beauty sleep last night, honey. I was sleeping last night. I don't know what's going on. But was it an informant they're talking about? You can't just put a fake and hope he will confess. Do y'all remember though? I did tell y'all they moved him with a family member that's in that prison. Ching-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, please listen and go back to what I said a few days ago. So was he talking to his person that he knew? Well, that's not fake, right? I don't know. So let's just keep going. Oh, and then the reason I stopped is because you can't entrap. You can't do that, because that would never be used in a court of law. You can't do that. Now, like they were saying on, and I'll say Court TV, y'all drop theirs. We'll play it later today. I hadn't got to it. I got a million videos, honey, a million things, a million stuff to do. But listen, I will tell you, there was lawyers and stuff on there last night. And if you go towards the end, which he's probably played a million by now anyway. I don't know which one it was. They said the police can talk to you, and if you want to talk to them, you can talk. You can say, I want an attorney, and they have their ways they can still talk to you. But if they want to talk, you have to stop. But if they want to talk, they can. They don't have to tell you, though, that your attorney, and this is coming from attorneys, they don't have to tell you your attorneys are sitting out in the waiting room. They don't have to say, oh, they're out there, let me go get them. Because you know why? They know you're definitely going to shut down. But if they think they about got you to talk and you're ready to break, They ain't going to get that attorney, and there's nothing illegal about that. Nothing illegal about it. Just saying. Hey, Shuri. Hello, hello, hello. All right, let's carry on. I'll stop playing.
Okay. Searching that story, I'm told police believe was all made up. First, they got that story. Then they decided to do the Perkins operation, I'm told, which is when they used the fake inmate and when they say they got the information that Jake Harrow actually killed baby Emmanuel and put baby Emmanuel into a trash can. Meanwhile, baby Emmanuel's mother, I'm told, is still sticking to the same story. They also did a Perkins operation with her in jail, and she is standing by her story that baby Emmanuel was kidnapped. That is also, you'll remember what she told a reporter who she talked to in jail. So many tragic twists and turns in this case. My big concern right now is that if this story is true, that police allegedly found out about through this Perkins operation, that he killed baby Emmanuel and put him into a trash can, and that it may have been up to 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, will they ever actually find baby Emmanuel? I'm joined now by Kim Dagonia, a former Riverside County prosecutor. Thank you for joining me again, Kim. I want to start with this new reporting that we have, that Jake confessed to police that he rolled over the baby, killed the baby, and then buried the baby. But apparently that story was not true, right?
Yes, that is correct. My inside sources are telling me that was absolutely a lie. He made that all up to the police in order to, I guess, garner some type of sympathy, garner some type of a linear charge or sentence, but he made up this entire fabricated story that he was asleep with the baby Emmanuel, that he rolled over onto baby Emmanuel. When he woke up, he realized the baby was dead and he panicked. And so he went out to...
Okay, y'all. You all know if that would have happened, that's what you call an accident. That's an accident. Period. He's telling a lie. If any of this is true, he's telling a lie. Lie, 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 pants on fire.
The Gilman Springs area that we saw him with the police the other day, and he buried the body because he wanted to have the opportunity to go back and mourn his son's death and visit him. That was his story. That's why he was out there in his chains and his shackles, allegedly trying to lead the police to the body that was never there.
Okay.
It was just part of the story.
The reason that we know that this is allegedly made up is because of this reporting that we have that he spoke to someone who he thought was an inmate in the jail, but it was actually what is known as, is it a Perkins operation? So it's actually a police officer who he admitted to actually killing the baby. First of all, can you explain what a Perkins operation is?
Sure. We don't know if the person who was undercover was a police officer, if it's another, run-of-the-mill citizen of the community that was acting as an undercover inmate. We just know there was another body in the jail cell pretending to be an inmate in the same inmate clothes as Jake Harrow, shackled in the same manner in which Jake Harrow is. And they begin to ask questions while being recorded to Jake specifically about the charges and why he's in there, in hopes that he will admit whatever really happened to baby Emmanuel to these fake inmates in custody. And it's called a Perkins operation. These types of investigative tools have been going on for decades in agencies and district attorneys' offices across California. It's a very standard and typical investigative tool that you see the sheriff's department use in many different cities and counties across California.
Is it controversial at all doing that?
Yeah, it's been very controversial. I think Orange County District Attorney's Office was at the center of a lot of the controversy a few years ago. From that came a much tighter rein on how these are conducted. The Riverside District Attorney's Office, from my understanding, in my experience, has gone to great lengths along with the sheriff's department to make sure that they are following and articulating the legal analysis and following the law as they conduct these operations. It's very specific, and in my experience, they follow the law in using this tool as an investigative means to get a confession out of many defendants over the years.
So this was a fake inmate who he told reportedly that he killed baby Emmanuel and then put baby Emmanuel into a trash can. I'm just thinking about waste management and all the trash cans and the landfill. I mean, it sounds like this could be very difficult in terms of finding his remains.
Yes, that's the sad part of all of this. That is correct. He did confess to these, we will call them fake inmates, that he did kill baby Emmanuel and that he threw him in the trash can at his home approximately a week before Rebecca Haro even stated that the baby was missing. So baby Emmanuel's been missing for quite some time. And as a result, Waste Management, from my understanding, has told the sheriff's department it would be nearly impossible to determine which Waste Management truck took the trash, which bin it was in, and which landfill this particular trash can would have gone to, making it almost impossible that we
would ever. But that's a good idea, Dawn.
That's awful to think about.
If you think about it,
really
especially for somebody like this.
So this Perkins operation with the fake inmate happened. Did that happen after, I'm assuming, the after he lied and said that he buried the body?
Yes.
Okay. So that was really just a wild goose chase out there.
It was 100% a wild goose chase, from my understanding.
Well, that's got to be frustrating for law enforcement.
Oh, for sure. And it goes to show you Jake Haro's mental status, right? The level that he will go to not only kill an infant, but the great lengths he will go to cover it up and create this fabricated lie. Such a fabricated lie that he allowed investigators to participate in something that's not ordinarily done, which is basically taking a field trip out to a fake crime scene. I mean, he created all of that in his mind, knowing it was a lie, knowing it was fake, and lived out the entire lie for the next 24 hours with law enforcement. That's pretty intense.
Yeah,
and just the level that you're dealing with.
I'm thinking back to his story. He said that he was mourning his son, so he buried him. Like, how does that make any sense?
Right. He claims that from what I understand, he buried the body close to his home.
You know what? I think that's just one sick person. You were mourning your son, so you take him out and bury him. I mean, that's his story. Of course, no. You threw him away like garbage, and you possibly did worse. Y'all, I mean, these people are monsters, evil, sick. There's not enough words in Smiley's vocabulary, not even in her Southern vocabulary, not even in her Smiley vocabulary, not even off the top of the head vocabulary. This is the worst scum I've ever seen or been around. And I've been around some scum, honey. But this is off the charts. I roll over on him, but I don't call 911. Y'all see what happened down the street from me yesterday. Yeah, you call 911. I don't care what your problem is. But you just go take it to bury it up on yourself. Why didn't you just bury him on your land, you dumbass? If you felt that way about it, no. This is all wrong. No.
Home so that he could go back and visit, almost like a gravesite, because he never planned on telling anybody the baby was dead.
But that was all made up.
Yes.
Okay. And then we've also reported that Rebecca Haro, that there was also a Perkins operation with her. So a fake female prisoner, and that she has been sticking to her original story, which is similar to what she said to the reporter for the newspaper who got through to her, that, that there was this kidnapping and that they don't know what happened. It's kind of interesting that she's sticking to the original story, and it sounds like he's, not.
Right. That's my understanding. She is sticking to this story that somebody stole her baby and she wants him to be brought home.
What do you make of that she's still sticking to the story?
I don't know. I was not there to watch the Perkins operation or to watch any of her interviews, but my best guess would be there's probably something mentally off with Rebecca Haro. I wouldn't be surprised if in the future months we see some type of mental health diversion paperwork being filed on her, domestic violence assertions that Jake inflicted upon her. I don't think we're done with hearing the backstory behind Rebecca. I don't. I think there's more to come.
Do you think she's trying to cover for him?
I'm not sure at this point if it's trying to cover for him or if it's a cycle of abuse where she's afraid. I don't know if there's maybe some cognitive lowered intelligence that she's, just repeating what she's been told. But like I said, again, I don't think we're done hearing the backstory to Rebecca. I think there's more there.
With these Perkins operations, since you have been a part of many before in your past, do they record them or how do they work? Like, how do they go down? How do they find the people? I'm sort of fascinated by it. I'd never heard of it before. How do they find the people to do this? Do they record them? Like, kind of walk me through the whole process.
And when you say I've been part of them, I don't actually go to the jail and watch them. There's a DA designated for that. That's his sole job. And it's in order, again, to protect the privacy and to make sure that the standard legal procedures are being followed. So there is one deputy district attorney designated to that unit, which is a great thing that the Riverside DA's office has done to preserve the integrity of this type of investigation. So what happens is that particular assigned DA goes to the jail, watches the entire interaction go on between the inmates, the fake inmates, the actual defendant, and the actual detectives. It's being recorded the entire time. There's cameras in the jail cell. There's cameras on what we're calling fake inmates. And it's all above board. Everybody can listen to it later on, watch it, see it. There's nothing hidden once it's done. It's turned over to defense, and it's routinely used as evidence in jury trials, the recordings from these operations.
It's kind of interesting that Jake Haro wasn't suspicious that maybe that was what was happening when he was talking to this other person.
It's kind of interesting that this seems to happen all the time. The inmates really don't become suspicious. They just verbal vomit everything to these inmates. I don't know if it's, to garner.
I know what it is. They're stupid. I know what it is, seriously. No, they think, honestly, okay, well, here we got a brother in jail. So, they probably told them a sad story while they're in there, and they believe them. These people are gullible. Look, they're not the brightest criminals in the world. If they were, they wouldn't be in jail, right? There you go. Bingo.
There's some type of strategy in custody to be part of, the violent members so that they're not attacked. I don't know if it's a preservation reason why they disclose, but it's shocking to me the amount of times there's disclosures and admissions made to other inmates in this setting.
Especially when it comes to killing a baby.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, in the past when I've done stories, if you hurt a child or you're a sex offender, it doesn't seem like the other inmates normally take to that.
Right. It's shocking he would admit that because you would think that would not bode well for him in custody at all.
And that's what I was fixing to say. But I'm sorry I keep stopping it. I told you I was going to commentate a lot on this. But that's what I was going to say. But the only reason he told somebody he killed his baby is, I guarantee you, because they either told him, the fake person. God, I hate saying fake. Just say a freaking informant. Let's use layman's terms here. Okay. But anyway, it's the same thing. But they either told that person, or that person either told Jake, what are you in here for? What are you in here for? Well, I'm in here for, they say I killed my child, or 20 years, or so many years I did this or I did that. I can guarantee you And then they get to talking, and then, what are you in here for? Yeah, same thing, man. I'm in here because they said I did this. But then Jake was smart a little bit in the backhand, and he goes, he didn't want to say what happened, but he's telling partial truths. And he goes, but I rolled over on my baby. And he's trying to make it look good so the prisoner don't think, oh, you're just this horrible baby killer. So I'm telling y'all what's going on. Informants, non-informants, fake police, whatever you want to call it. I'm just telling you, and I'm calling it like I see it.
So let's talk about these charges that we now know about. Murder, domestic violence, and making serious false complaints. Is that what you expected?
It is. I'm a little bit shocked they didn't file a special circumstance on this case. You know, there's a litany of different ones they could have. But again, they're in the beginning stages of investigating the case. I think this isn't the final complaint that will be filed against Jake Haro. I think at some point, there probably will be an amended complaint with certainly a special circumstance added to it. What we know based on the complaint that was filed, it looks like first-degree murder was charged with Jake Haro. That 1109 that they're putting everybody on notice about, it reads like domestic violence, but what that really is putting everybody on notice about his prior child abuse that he did with Jane Doe, the 10-week-old baby, that they intend on using that information in future litigation, in preliminary hearings, in jury trials, that information the district attorney's office is seeking to admit along with the evidence of baby Emmanuel.
Yeah, and I'm going to get back to the 1109 in a second because that part stood out to me. But when you say you're surprised they didn't file, I think you said special circumstance. What does that mean?
So there's certain code sections in the penal code that after you file a murder, you can also file what's called a special circumstance. A special circumstance elevates the sentencing scheme from 25 years to life on a first-degree murder. And then it takes you in the range of either life without the possibility of parole, or you're eligible for the death penalty. And we saw, Riverside County, even though there's a moratorium in California, Mike Hestern has been very clear that if the facts warrant and it's so heinous, he still files the death penalty in a lot of these cases. So in order to get to that type of charge, you would have to have a special circumstance attached to the murder charge, which is not in this case.
And back to the 1109, you talk about section 1109, and this was in the charging documents. It says, pursuant to section 1109 of the evidence code, evidence of the defendant's commission of other acts of domestic violence may be admissible at a trial in a criminal action in which the defendants are accused of an offense involving domestic violence. The people hereby give notice of the people's intent to admit evidence of prior acts of domestic violence pursuant to evidence code 1109. So you said it, but I just want to make sure I understand. So basically, are they saying we plan to bring in these other cases, like the case we've talked about of the other child who was badly hurt?
It sure seems that way. 1109, if you go on and read it further under section 3, it talks about prior abuse on dependent children. And so my guess is that's exactly what they're alluding to in this complaint.
So back to Jake Haro and his different stories that he has allegedly told. And then you've got Rebecca still standing by the fact that she says there was this kidnapping. Is it possible that he killed baby Emmanuel and she doesn't know?
Is it possible? I guess, but is it reasonable and likely? I don't think so. They were living together in the same home. She presumably lived in the same house where she sees the photographs being taken down of baby Emmanuel, all the clothing being gone, the baby's not there. I mean, it begs the question, why didn't you call sooner? If you weren't part of the cover-up, if you weren't part of the murder, if you weren't part of aiding and abetting, why in the world as a mother did you not call the very first day Emmanuel was no longer in your home? It just doesn't make sense. So no, I think that she had to have known something nefarious went down.
Yeah, that would make sense. Last time we spoke about how there was no body, and prosecuting a no body murder case can sometimes be tricky. Based on what we now know,
you send me the link? Send me the link.
I guess you could almost call it a jailhouse confession.
Email me the link, please.
how much more solid is the case now? And are those Perkins operations always admissible at trial?
They're typically, yes, always admissible as long as the district attorney can point to the fact that they followed the legal requirements.
Press
which,
conference is on,
again, Riverside has been, in my experience.
Hold on. Oh, God. Y'all know I get nervous through all this. Can somebody send me the link to the press conference on my email, please? And that way I can pull it up on the computer. smileystory2you@yahoo.com. All right, thank you. Hold on a minute. I'm going to pull it up here. Oh, shit. Where did it go? Where did it go? I just seen it come up. Oh, my God. Really? Okay, got it. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I don't think that's it. Hold on.
Deadliest pandemic in American history,
Hold on, where
to now
we at?
breaking his silence after being awarded a $1.6 million decision.
That's not it.
Dr.
That's not
Rick
it.
Loftus
That's not it.
shared his story first.
Okay, that's not it. Jesus, hold on a minute. That's not it. Hold on. It did the same thing it did yesterday. Doing this. Oh my God. Fuck. It's not showing up. Hold on. I don't know, y'all. I sent it to my phone, the link to my phone. It's not. They hadn't started yet? Okay. They haven't started it yet, they're saying. Okay. What, hold on a minute. Yeah, but is that the right? Is this the right one right here? Is this the right one, y'all? Can you see it? Look, look. This is what I'm getting. Hold on. That's what I'm getting. Okay, this is what I'm getting. I don't see nothing about a news conference. Is it going to be here? That's what I'm getting. Is that where what I'm getting? Okay, Court TV. All right, got it. Hold on. Hold on. Got it. Got it. Hold on. Just hold on. They're preparing everything. Okay. This is going to be very interesting. This is going to be so interesting. This is not it? Okay, that's not it. Hold on. Is Court TV doing it? Somebody send me Court TV. Millie, send me Court TV, please. I'm not showing it on there. All right, hold on. Here we go.
And we know how to get things done.
Hold on just a minute.
That's why the jurisdiction changed from the original jurisdiction that was reported in, which is Ukiah, California. But as we went through that portion of the investigation, and
I got it. Just a minute. We'll re-go over it. Hold on. Let me go all the way, but let me go back. Hold on. I just all right, we got it here. We got it. All right, we got it. Hold on a minute. Let me change the scanner, y'all. Thank y'all for bearing with me. Hold on. All right, full credit goes to Court TV, okay? So we're watching it from the beginning.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. 1 2. You guys good? Keep going. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. We good?
You're fine, Lady Q. I couldn't navigate it either. That's no problem. No problem. No problem. No worries, anybody. Y'all are cool. Everybody's good.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3 en español. 1 2 3. English. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 12.
I turned on closed captions. I hope that works. We'll see. I'm sorry. I just wanted to go all the way back to the back so y'all could hear what was going on. I'm sorry. Thank y'all for staying here. I know everybody wants to get ahead of the game and see it, but thank you for staying here and let's watch this together. They will in just a second. They will. Yeah, I started it. Yeah, I started from the beginning. I didn't want us to miss anything. Sorry. I didn't want to be playing with buttons either. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you for understanding.
Hi, everyone. I just have a quick announcement really quick. So I'm Molly Smith. I'm the Riverside County DA's office PIO. We have a misspelling on the possible comments that are going to be made. San Bernardino County Sergeant Nick Clark, his spelling is Nicholas. He goes by Nicholas. I think Eliana spoke to Spanish-speaking media. DA Mike Hestron will be answering any questions in Spanish. His portion of the speech will not be given in Spanish. They should be back out shortly. Yes? Sure thing. Okay.
She needs to talk louder. That's her.
Check 1, check 2. Check 1, check 2. Any better? Better? Everyone good? Okay. Yep. Everyone good? 1, 2, 3. Good. 4, 5. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Any other questions? Okay. We'll be out shortly. Thank you.
Yeah, she definitely needs to. I'm trying to get this closed caption on. Hold on. Okay. I think it's on. I think it's on. Happy birthday to your son, Leslie. Keep it real. Oh, it was Don's son. Happy birthday to your son, Don. I'm sorry. Happy birthday from Smiley. And again, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get some good old handwriting paper and pencil down, and so I can write things from this press conference. I know I could type it on my phone. I do stuff the crazy way. I'm just trying to do some stuff here. I'm trying to watch y'all, and I'm sorry it's taking so long, but I did want to go back. I know people will run over to other places. That's fine. But I thank you for being here and being patient. I didn't want to miss any of it. Since we're already on it, I didn't even know I was going to be live on it. That's why I was not prepared. I thought I was going to get that short live in, but we're doing this. So thank you for being patient. I just don't want to miss anything they say. So just keep talking amongst yourselves. I appreciate y'all, and I love y'all so much. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you always. I appreciate you. Look at that baby. And look, I got more pictures. It come off of Justin's, a sub, I think, put it on Justin's. Somebody got him, and literally before, that's why I think the pictures they're showing was after he was abused, but he's really smiling. He looks really healthy in those. So, I mean, it's really, broke my heart, but I took them, and I'm gonna I'll show them later. But yeah, it really broke my heart. I know, girl, you can't miss a thing. And sometimes I'm old fashioned. I just got to do things my way. That's that's all. And it wasn't nothing about these links or nobody did. It's like, I know where court TV is, but I panic when I'm trying to do something. And, to get it on the screen for y'all, I have to personally go through my email to do that, that's set up for this channel. So that's why. Otherwise, I have to show it on my phone, and I can't explain it to y'all. I'm so backwards and so unorganized. And as I grow, maybe somebody will be my secretary, and I can just sit back and go, push this button. I don't know. I don't know all these things. It's all good in Smiley's hood. We all love each other here. Oh, they went black. I promise I didn't touch nothing.
My name is Mike Hestron. I'm the Riverside County District Attorney. Welcome. I want to do a couple of things today. First thing I want to do is introduce the individuals that are here on stage with me. First off, to my far left, we have Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. We have San Bernardino County Sheriff Sergeant Nicholas Clark. We have San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes. We have Assistant District Attorney Brandon Smith, and then myself. So someone who's not here, I want to thank as well, or introduce as well, Jason Anderson, San Bernardino County District Attorney. I want to start by thanking these gentlemen up here. I want to thank the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office for their professionalism, their cooperation, and the great work that they do here so far. I want to thank Jason Anderson, the San Bernardino DA's office. His Bureau of Investigation has recently formed a high-tech crimes unit. They were instrumental in helping us with this investigation. Let me tell you how things are going to go today. There's going to be several individuals that make statements up here, and then when we're all done with the short statements, I will come back up and we will have a question and answer. I will take questions. I will take all of your questions till there are no more questions. Having said that, there's a lot that we can't say, that I can't say, that nobody up here can say. And the reason is that the defendants in this case have been charged with crimes, serious crimes. And so now they have a presumption of innocence that applies to them. They're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. I'm not allowed to prove my case in the court of public opinion. And so there's a lot that we can't say in terms of the facts and the evidence. For that, you will have to come to the court and to the various hearings and see how the case plays out. However, having said that, it's appropriate to have a press conference because it was the defendants in this case that had a press conference first. And they did so in order to tell the public, the media, and ultimately law enforcement that their child had been kidnapped.
I love how he
That's
said
not what
that.
occurred. And so we're here to clear up some misconceptions and to explain how this case unfolded in terms of the investigation. It involves two counties working very well together. I know everybody up here on this stage, we work well together normally, but in this case, I'm very proud of the work that was done by Riverside County Sheriff, San Bernardino County Sheriff, my office, and also the District Attorney's Office in San Bernardino County. All right, so we'll go ahead and kick this off. I'm gonna bring up first San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes.
Thank you, Mike. To Mike's point, I want to thank all of you in the media for covering this, specifically the parents' initial statements to the public while we were trying to find Emmanuel. They became critical as we continued through this investigation. But I want to talk about a little bit about the process because we've seen a number of questions related to Amber Alerts and things like that. So I hope when I finish this that everybody understand kind of the course of the investigation. But the investigation started for us on August 14th. When Rebecca Haro reported that her son had been kidnapped. Folks, within 24 hours through video surveillance, we found inconsistencies in Rebecca's statement. And as a result of that, there was no other vehicle to put out on an Amber Alert or anything. And I know many of you were wondering why that didn't occur. But really, after finding out those inconsistencies in the statement on the initial report, that's where hundreds of hours of investigations have come in by our Specialized Investigations Division to try to get to the bottom of what's really going on here. And when I say hundreds of hours, I'm talking about forensic data on vehicles, phones, and potential crime scenes, judicial authorized search warrants that were served. And through that process, that's where we learned that the jurisdiction of where this has occurred was in Riverside County. So hence the Riverside County DA and Riverside County Sheriff's Department, which I can't stress enough. We've had a long-term partnership. We work well together and we know how to get things done in these environments. But that's why the jurisdiction had changed from the original jurisdiction that was reported in, which is Yucaipa, California. But as we went through that portion of the investigation and realized that these things that had happened in Riverside County, you saw the culmination of all the different entities get involved. And going back to what Mike mentioned about the DA's office in San Bernardino County and high-tech crimes, forensically, there are a number of things that we were able to prove up that we're not going to be able to share today exactly how we did that, but there is a tremendous amount of evidence that suggests that the initial story posed was not the correct story. So in that partnership with our agencies, I'm going to introduce my partner, Chad Bianco, where this crossover occurred at Riverside, and we reached out to Mike, who's obviously filing the case, and of course, Chad, to assist us in the investigation. Chad?
Thank you. Like Sheriff Dykes, I just want to thank all of you for, especially the normal mainstream media, for your attention to this and for your cooperation in this as we were assisting San Bernardino in this investigation, trying to originally find a missing baby, but then eventually quickly learning that that investigation was not something that it started as. Not so much for social media and keyboard warriors who quite honestly sometimes hamper and prevent us from a good investigation. I do want to expand a little bit about our relationship with San Bernardino. A lot from the media, a lot of questions have been raised about jurisdiction. And what Sheriff Dykes and I routinely talk about to our own communities isn't really necessarily displayed in the media or said to the media, but neither one of us care about jurisdiction. Our belief is that the Inland Empire is better served when we are cooperating and working together. And in this investigation from the very beginning, it was obvious that it could involve both counties. When something like that happens, particularly in this case, the original investigation began with Sheriff Dykes, and If he chooses to take it to the end, he will, which obviously he did. And my position is Sheriff Dykes is
I was
responsible
fixing to
for
say, I
this
think that
and
must
the
be in their
assistance of my
handbooks that
department.
they
So
have to
there is
say.
no
They all
asking
say
us,
that
there
after
is
the
no
fact, don't
anything
they?
like that. It is, we have to serve our public best, and he has every single available resource that the Riverside County Sheriff's Office has to offer to make sure that we provide justice in this case. This is an extensive investigation with both agencies that ultimately is headed by the supervisor of the Detective Bureau from the Sheriff's Office in San Bernardino. But the cooperation, as you can see, between the both counties is what is going to bring this to a successful conclusion. There is absolutely nothing, no crime more important than the injury of a human being, particularly a child. And the amount of resources that were expended to find this baby and to ultimately bring the people to justice responsible for the loss of this baby, I can't even tell you the amount of resources that were expended in this. It is a massive investigation that will obviously be ongoing, and we appreciate your efforts. This involves a lot of things, though, from us, and hopefully there are more questions to be answered, but I'll end it by saying this before we get into more questions specifically about this case. This was preventable in numerous ways. The amount of response we have had from the public, the enormous anger that a child was not only originally thought to be kidnapped, but then presumably murdered, kind of warms my heart a little bit, that there is compassion still out there. There is care about other people. There is, people actually do care about other people. There is absolutely nothing worse than harming a baby. Broken bones, injuries, life-altering trauma. And had that case been successfully handled how it should have been, Emmanuel would still be with us today. So I thank you all for taking the time and the effort to make sure that the world sees this investigation, and we will successfully bring it to conclusion with the help of both DA's offices.
Thank you, Sheriff. I neglected to mention that Sergeant Nicholas Clark is the lead investigator on this case. So even though he's San Bernardino County, he will be functioning as the lead investigator on this case, which is ongoing. The investigation is ongoing, even though we have filed charges. And then Brandon Smith is going to be the lead prosecutor on the case, obviously Riverside County prosecutor. And with that, obviously, you all know, yesterday in court, we filed murder charges on both Jake and Rebecca Haro. We also filed filing of a false police report. And with that, I will take questions. I know you're going to have a lot of questions. I do want to lay some ground rules. The way we do it here is don't shout at me, no chaos, just raise your hand. I ask you to ask me one question at a time. I'll do my best to call on everybody. When we've gotten through everyone who has a question, then we can go back and ask more follow-ups, okay? So I'll start here in the front row. Yes, ma'am. You know, yes, we have a pretty strong indication of where the remains of baby Emmanuel are. So that investigation is ongoing at this time.
Closed captions is not working, y'all. I'm trying.
Sheriff, you want to take that?
I'm not going to go into grave detail about that, but there is some level of cooperation with the suspects involved in this, and we're trying to locate that, and our job is to follow every lead. But for the rest of the room here, we have to understand what you're dealing with is an experienced child abuser that is aware of a previous case, that is aware of evidentiary things that we are certainly concerned with. So we're going to take every step to not only work with any suspect or witness involved in this, because at the end of the day, we have to bring a case to Mike and they have to charge it. And we have to make sure that every single thing, no matter what is told to us or what we discover in terms of evidence, is the right thing and that we follow it up extensively.
Next. I'll go to you first and then to you. Go ahead. The filing in this case reflects our belief that baby Emmanuel was abused, victim of childhood abuse, time, and that eventually, because of that abuse, succumbed to those injuries. That's what we believe. Sure. We charged both Jake and Rebecca with murder. Who's next? Yeah, go ahead, Rob. Sure. Yes, I will. So in 2018, Jake Haro with his ex-wife, there was another child who they were prosecuted for child abuse as well, child neglect, cruelty. That child was also an infant, and that came to the courts, arrested in 2018, came in to the courts in 2023. We had charged various felony crimes, child abuse, child cruelty, and our indication or what we wanted out of the case was prison. We believed it was a prison case and that Jake Haro should have gone to prison. Jake Haro pled straight up to the court, which sometimes reporters get this wrong and you call it a plea bargain. Judges are not allowed to plea bargain. Defendants can plea bargain with the prosecutor, but when a defendant pleads up to the court, they plead to everything that they've been charged with, and they're essentially throwing themselves on the mercy of the court. In this case, a judge here in Riverside County, happened to have been a visiting judge from San Bernardino County, gave Mr. Haro a suspended sentence, which means, if I can translate for you what that is, it means that instead of sending him to prison, he chose to give him probation.
So it was the judge's fault. Am I understanding that right?
Meaning that if he violated his probation, he would then go to prison. My prosecutor in the courtroom objected to that and said on the record, we object. We think it's a prison case. You should send him to prison. And the judge decided, as is the judge's right to do.
That's what I'm talking about. So we can blame the judge. It was the judge's fault, the visiting judge.
And gave him probation and basically 180 days of work release, which ends up being like community service. I will say that it was an outrageous error in judgment by this judge. And I don't have any problem saying that. I'm not attacking the judge personally. That decision was absolutely outrageous. Mr. Haro should have been in prison at the time that this crime happened. And if that judge had done his job as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today. And that's a shame, and it's an outrage. And I hate to say that, but when our criminal justice system breaks down, I'm going to just call it like it is and tell you it broke down. It's not how it's supposed to work. The judge had obviously meant well. At the end of their sentence, he told Jake, I'm giving you a big break today. Don't mess it up. But I want to point something out to you. I want to read to you the injuries. The child's name is Carolina. She is still alive today, but she is permanently bedridden. She has permanent damage, cerebral palsy, that is a result of long-term child abuse. I want to read to you the injuries that were presented in court to this judge at the time of that previous prosecution. Acute fracture of the posterior left rib, 5th rib, healing fractures of the posterior lateral 6th, 7th, and 10th through 12th ribs, healing fractures of the 6th and 9th through 12th ribs, partial bone fracture of the skull, brain hemorrhage, significant prevertebral soft tissue swelling of the neck, and a healing tibia fracture of the right leg. This is severe abuse for an infant. And so whatever you think of the criminal justice system and people need a break, someone who does that to a child belongs in prison, period. Next question. Not to my knowledge, no. Yes. You know, I'm not gonna, I can't speculate. What I'll say, I'll repeat what I already said. We believe that Emmanuel was severely abused over a period of time, and that that's the reason for the filing, the way it was, is that he was abused over a period of time. Both parents would have been aware of that abuse. I've already called on you, so I'm gonna exhaust. Yes, sir. No, one question, sir. One question. I didn't say that, sir. I didn't say I know where the remains are. Well, you should get some rest, sir. You should get some rest. But no, I can't share with you anything. Look, there are professionals that are looking for the remains of this child. If the public has any information, then we ask for their help. So we don't know exactly where the remains are. We have some ideas in terms of where we're going to look and where we're going to continue to investigate. Yes, sir, all the way in the back. No, I'm not going to do that. Unfortunately, I understand it's an obvious question, but I just can't go into it. Those are things that the evidence will be presented in court, and I'll have to wait till we do that. Who's next? Yes, sir.
Can you explain? I know they both have charges on them. Believe that Jake or Rebecca both were actively involved in abusing Emmanuel, or she was assisting what he was doing, or the other way around. Can you explain any more of that?
All I can explain is what we've filed. We've filed murder charges on both of them and making a false police report on both of them. So you can extrapolate that we believe that both of them are guilty, that we can prove it's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt for both the murder and the filing of the false police report. You know, how it breaks down as to who did what, that also has to wait for the trial. So let me go this way. Okay. Pues ya dije lo que puedo decir, fue una tragedia increíble y no hubiera sucedido. El juez hizo un gran error y juzgó mal y el sistema se quebró ese día. Jueces, fiscales, defensores, todos tenemos un deber y tenemos que hacer nuestro deber en nuestro trabajo. Todo lo que puedo decir. Claro que no. Le dio libertad condicional y esto fue un caso de prisión. Cuando uno hace daño así a un niño, debería ir a prisión. Eso es lo que dice la ley. La ley dice que la sentencia debe ser prisión por crímenes de este nivel de gravedad. Y en este caso le dio probation. Okay. Let me go to you. I haven't called on you. No, unfortunately I can't. that has to wait for the trial to come out. Yes, sir.
Given the history that Jake has been obviously charged with previous child abuse cases, has CPS been involved with Emmanuel throughout his life at all, or have they ever checked on him?
To my knowledge, CPS has not been involved with Emmanuel. I don't believe there was any CPS involvement in this current case. Let me go. I've already called on you. So have I called on you already? No, go ahead, please.
Okay, he may not be aware of CPS the last few days, but what he's saying is no CPS involvement with Emmanuel.
That's
So,
not true.
wow.
There's no confession made in jail. I'll go back there and then I'll come back to you, Rob. Yes. Go ahead, sir. Yeah. Well, there's the 2-year-old and then baby Emmanuel. Yeah. Going back there. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. You know, a no-body homicide is always difficult, but obviously with an infant, we know that baby Emmanuel didn't, leave on his own or is not, didn't leave town. Obviously, it's a little different when you're talking about an infant, but we have a lot of experience in this county trying no-body homicides, and we're confident that we can gain convictions in this case. Yes, ma'am. Well, I think Sheriff Dyke has already explained that. He answered that question by saying there's been a level of cooperation with the defendants. So that's why they went to that area. But beyond that, that's all I can say. Yes, ma'am.
The big one, I don't know if you heard him.
No.
He said there's been no
This is what happens when you've got all
confession.
these folks out there online and these keyboard warriors. You get a lot of misinformation, and what you just said is not true. It's misinformation. So that's what I'll tell you did not happen. Okay. I can't talk about the facts of the case. Well, no, I'm giving you information about baby Emmanuel. I'm giving you information about the cases and the investigation, but what you just said did not happen. So, that's not, I can't be responsible for when you guys get it wrong. Go ahead.
I know you have not found information based on the level of cooperation of the suspect, what you know so far. Is it a strong likelihood that remains were
Yeah, I'm just not going to comment on that. We're looking for the remains. These investigation is continuing. We're hoping to find the remains of baby Emmanuel. Yeah, please, Sheriff.
This is to that and to the question before. A problem that we are having in this, basically even on the question that was asked 2 questions ago, is someone posts something on social media and then you all believe that it's true. I actually complimented the mainstream media because you've actually been reaching out to us for comment and actually been printing what we've told you. It hasn't been the sensationalism and the wants for clicks for social media. And that is doing nothing but harming this investigation. And when you form your opinion and come in here and ask questions like that, you're not serving the public in any way. The question way earlier, get some rest. There should be no one out there looking for baby Emmanuel except for us, because all you're going to do is complicate things in the future. And the one thing that I emphasize that I want to make it clear here, the reason this is happening relatively quickly and the reason why we got such a handle on this fast is I believe that the Inland Empire is served better by their 2 sheriff's offices than any place in the state. And this particular case doubled its efforts. So instead of having 4,500 people looking for baby Emmanuel, you had 9,000. And so how did we get all of this information? It's called investigation. And we have 2 entire departments doing nothing but sifting through evidence, searching for evidence, trying to figure out what happened, who was responsible, and how we're going to successfully prosecute it. And misinformation, lies, and purposeful misdirection is going to do nothing but harm this investigation. And I am begging all of you with cameras out here, don't be a part of it.
You wasted yours in English? I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. No, I've already called on you. I'll go ahead. I started with you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I have to, cops get a bad rap of being just heartless souls. I will tell you that most police officers are parents, either dads or moms. And there is nothing more traumatic for us to go through than an injury, a death, or harm to a child. Nothing. And there is absolutely nothing that we want more than to bring these investigations to a successful conclusion. And when we talk about why we're here in the first place, that we believe someone murdered baby Emmanuel, who should still be in prison, but we have this unbelievable love for criminals, believing that they're somehow victims, and now we're all traumatized by it. We were all in this room a couple of years ago when I had a deputy murdered because someone was out on the street that should have been life in prison, but a judge let them go. We have an absolute breakdown of the justice system, and we are not preventing other children from being harmed when someone like Jake is allowed to be out on the streets harming children.
Amen.
And so the anger
Amen.
that I have, the frustration that I have, then combined with the
These
misinformation
are the
and everything
good
else, when for
people right
all of us
here.
and our employees, there is nothing more important to us than the death of a human, particularly a child.
Try to work. I'm going to work the back. Yes, sir. Well, we've got a lot of evidence. We're going to have to play that out in court. I can't lay it out here today. Okay. So yes, right next to him. I don't know if we're going to see the arrest warrant today. So that's a pretty short answer for Spanish. So go ahead, sir. Go ahead, and then I'll come back to you. I just can't say. I'm not going to give a timeline. Obviously, baby Emmanuel, we have a theory as to when his death occurred. So, and then I've also shared that we believe that when the parents came forward, it was to tell the public something that wasn't true. Going which way? Oh. There's a lot of witnesses. Investigators are tracking down every lead. I'm not going to focus in on who's a relative and who isn't. There's a lot of witnesses in the case that are shedding light. Yes, ma'am. Right. So I'm not going to say, as Sheriff Bianco just mentioned, when you have members of the public that are out there doing their own searches, all it does is potentially prejudice and damage the case. So please let the sheriff's departments do their job. They know how to do this, right? We're helping with them, anything they need from us, but they are the ones driving this investigation, and they will track down every lead. I have all the confidence in both of these great sheriffs and their great departments. This investigation is ongoing, yes. Yes, ma'am.
In an effort to dispel all of that misinformation that we're seeing on social media, has a plea deal been offered to either Jake or Rebecca? Is that a possibility? And is this a death penalty case?
It's not a death penalty case. We did not, and we're not able to file special circumstances, and that's what would be required for to be eligible for the death penalty. This is, we filed 2 counts of homicide, which in this case is murder, against both Jake and Rebecca.
I hate to say this because I'm not one to usually say, I told you so, but I'm so freaking sick and tired of everybody acting like Smiley is so damn stupid. So you just heard it right here, okay? And I'm saying it again. And this is my little piece of commentary right here. Yes, they could have filed the death penalty case because yes, California still has the death penalty. 110,010,000,12.99%. I've been telling y'all that. Clip me saying it. Stop acting like Smiley don't know what she's talking about. Okay? Because that is what pushes my buttons. You just heard him. But there's a reason they did not file a death penalty case on these 2, because they would be going overboard. They don't have the special circumstances. Stop it. Y'all will learn. Smiley's only out here to try to tell the truth, not for the clicks and views and the money and the bullshit. Although it's nice. I care about what I'm doing, what I choose to do, popular or not, first or not. And that's why I'm having to say, I'm sorry, but I told you so. You heard it here first. If you didn't hear it, you rewind it. I'm not going to. Not being mean, just saying.
So not a death penalty case. Was there, what was the other? No. No. No, we're not interested in a plea bargain with these individuals. We're interested in a trial and getting to justice. Yes, sir. I don't know. I don't know. That's not something that I have any knowledge of. Going back, yes, ma'am. I think you just answered your own question. Of course, this is an investigation. We're searching for evidence. We've got 2 great sheriff's departments doing what they do best. So if there's a chance to find baby Emmanuel's remains, these men and women of these 2 agencies will do it. Yes, sir. Estamos aquí porque estamos acusando formalmente a Jake y Rebecca Haro de homicidio y de presentar un reporte falso a la policía. Los padres del bebé de 7 meses permanecen detenidos bajo una fianza de $1 millón. Y más de eso no puedo comentar porque no puedo hablar sobre la evidencia en el caso porque eso tiene que suceder en un tribunal, un corte.
Y'all, you hear my dog snoring, that's what that is.
No, dije que sí, estamos convencidos que el bebé fue abusado por un periodo de tiempo, o sea, tiene 7 meses, o sea, sobre su vida de 7 meses, que fue abusado sobre tiempo. Yes, sir.
just for clarification, maybe sheriff's department, not sheriff. There was a call for service that was generated by Jake that we investigated concerning a child abuse case. And that's all I can give you on that. And it was in Moreno Valley. No, not at this time.
I said,
I think we've answered that already. If you are not getting information from his office or my office, you are doing our public an unbelievable disservice. We don't care what someone posts on social media. And if you all are going to believe that and then generate questions based on those comments, we're not going to get anywhere in this. If it did not come from our two agencies, stop believing it. That's all I can tell you.
Son responsables de la muerte de su bebé por la evidencia que ya tenemos. Y es cierto que no tenemos el cuerpo del bebé, pero tenemos bastante evidencia y nosotros estamos convencidos que fueron responsables del homicidio de su hijo. All right, going forward, where am I? Did you have another question? Go ahead.
This is for Sheriff Tappy. So when you guys were on the 63 way in that area searching, we did notice that Jake was out there with the sheriff's department. Was Jake trying to cooperate at any time with the sheriff during that search?
So we've answered that question, sir. That was Sheriff Dykes that answered that question of why they were out there. He said that there was some level of cooperation with the defendants, and that's all we can say. Yep, that's all we can say. Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel, because the baby was 7 months approximately, died, born for 7 months, do you feel that there are people that let this baby down? Not only that judge who let Jake Carr down, we're talking about 7 months child abuse or several months of child abuse. Do you think there are other people who failed?
that's right. And I'm just who I am, baby. Thank you.
Well, certainly this baby was failed by his parents. So that's first and foremost. So yes, beyond that, I can't comment. But yes, everybody failed this baby that was close to him. Yes. Yeah. So I can't comment on the evidence in this case, but what I can tell you is that modern homicide investigations are very tech heavy. And we have two very modern, cutting edge sheriff's departments in Riverside County and in San Bernardino County. And so, yes, what you mentioned was the high tech crimes unit of the San Bernardino DA's office, their Bureau of Investigation. They assisted, and beyond that, I can't say what they found. That can't get into the evidence, but yeah, this case is going to be built on like almost all homicide cases now, electronic, digital evidence. It all comes into play. Go ahead.
Did the family ever seek medical attention for baby Emmanuel since he was born to the day?
I can't comment on that. Sorry. Yes, ma'am. What's next is first and foremost, the investigation will continue, and it's led by the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, and then also Riverside County Sheriff's Department assisting, and then the prosecution will begin. We filed the case. The case will begin to work its way through the criminal justice system here in Riverside County. Other folks, yes, we're coming to the end here, I think. Go ahead. Not at this time. No, we're not looking at anybody else. We believe that this is the filings in court that will be in this case. Now that could change if new evidence comes in. Yes, sir. I'm not aware of a house fire next door. So, yes, sir.
Okay, y'all, that was very interesting how he said that. He said nobody else is being looked at this time. They think they got, Rebecca and Jake, basically. But he said that could change. I think y'all need to read between the lines. And then somebody brought up, they did ask him about the house fire, because I am assuming what that person was getting to is outside arrest and stuff like that. He said, I don't know nothing about a house fire, which I don't know how in hell you don't know nothing about a house fire, but whatever. But I find it interesting that he said what he said. And if they are going to charge anybody else, I don't think he wants anybody to see it coming. I'm just saying. That's my opinion only. Just my opinion. And if I was at that press conference, I would be asking, do you think it's true, sir, that the grandmother did not have any contact or communication until XYZ years, until March? That would be one of my questions. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to comment. Sorry, I can't talk about that. Anything else?
I rewinded it a little bit. Somebody asked me to, so listen. We'll just listen.
Well, certainly this baby was failed by his parents. So that's first and foremost. So yes, beyond that, I can't comment. But yes, everybody failed this baby that was close to him. Yes. Yeah. So I can't comment on the evidence in this case, but what I can tell you is that modern homicide investigations are very tech heavy. And we have two very modern, cutting edge sheriff's departments in Riverside County.
All right, I think it's right after this question. I'm not sure.
Yes, what you mentioned was the high-tech crimes unit of the San Bernardino DA's office, their Bureau of Investigation. They assisted, and beyond that, I can't say what they found. That can't get into the evidence, but yeah, this case is going to be built on, like almost all homicide cases now, electronic, digital evidence. It all comes into play. Go ahead. I can't comment on that. Sorry. Yes, ma'am. What's next is, first and foremost, the investigation will continue, and it's led by the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, and then also Riverside County Sheriff's Department assisting, and then the prosecution will begin. We've filed the case. The case will begin to work its way through the criminal justice system here in Riverside County. Other folks, yes, we're coming to the end here, I think. Go ahead. Not at this time. No, we're not looking at anybody else. We believe that this is the filings in court that will be in this case. Now that could change if new evidence comes in. Yes, sir.
And in my opinion, did y'all see how he kind of huffed? And it was like a puff. And he was real kind of careful to answer that. I'm gonna rewind it one more time. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it on the big screen so I can't see your comments. It's almost to an end. Just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but hold on.
And the prosecution will begin. We filed the case. The case will begin to work its way through the criminal justice system here in Riverside County. Other folks. Yes, we're coming to the end here, I think. Go ahead. Not at this time. No, we're not looking at anybody else. We believe that this is the filings in court that will be in this case. Now that could change if new evidence comes in.
Okay, so what is it? Me, or I mean, is that me, or did he have a hard time feeling like he needed to answer that? I don't know. I'm just saying. All right, we'll carry on. It's almost over.
Yes, sir. I'm not aware of a house fire next door. So, yes, sir. I'm not going to comment. Sorry, I can't talk about that. Anything else? Sí. Sí. Podría cambiar si encontramos más evidencia y la situación cambia, los cargos pueden cambiar. Anything else? I think we're closing up here. Anybody have any last questions? Yes, go ahead. Do you know when? September 4th. The court day will be September 4th. All right. Thank you all for coming.
Okay, so there you have it. What do y'all think about that? I mean, I don't know what to think, really. Let me get this out of here. There we go. I got to get that music out before it drives my head crazy. I don't know. That music always drives me crazy, but sometimes we need to put it up. I mean, Court TV is real good about they're real good about allowing you to do that. That's why I like to go to Court TV. However, you know, I'm trying to get in the practice. Let's see what some of y'all are saying. I'm sick as a dog, and yeah, I know hearing stuff like this. I get it. I get it. It's really sad. It is. I think he dodged a lot of questions. I do too. I really do too. So was it really he couldn't answer them or what? But I can't get over he didn't know about the house fire. Okay. I don't know that I believe that, but okay. If he says he didn't know, he didn't know. I don't know how anybody could know about all this insaneness here, but they said that they have a pretty good idea. And he wasn't lying when he went back up there. I don't think he was being hateful. He said they have a pretty good idea where the remains are. So whatever evidence or witnesses or whoever or whatever brought them to that conclusion, I just hope that they can find it. Yeah, I'm with you, Garrett. I don't know what to believe, and I don't know if they're putting certain things out just to, you know, I don't know. It really bothered me, and again, that just maybe me. I think he answer that question because he felt like it about the nobody else, but I believe in my heart somebody else is being looked at least the sister. As much as I'm on the granny, I still believe the sister is being looked at. That's just me. And he's having a tough time doing that, but they are still doing witnesses and stuff. Yeah, how do they not know about the fire? I mean, really? You're in this huge case. You're there in California. You think we're hanging on to every word and can't sleep. But again, that's where I say, hey, these people, they don't have no problem. They're sleeping pretty, you know? And I ain't trying to down them because I don't know how they're going to go. They did say they're out for blood. They don't want no plea bargain. And that's good. Again, it remains to be seen. They said that in the Kohlberger case, okay? And the last day, here we go. So it remains to be seen. But I'm so thankful that they talked about the death penalty. And I'm so thankful that they are still investigating. The investigating's ongoing. Yep, the grandma said she had not seen a manual. That would have been a question I asked if they confirmed that. That's what I would ask. I would just want to know that. In 2018, Jake, with his ex-wife, as we know, did the abuse and the cruelty and all the things to promise. He said in 2023, all that came to the courts, and they all wanted prison. They think everybody I've seen on YouTube, every ex-cop, every real that's still real into that's detectives, that's cops now. It doesn't matter where they're at, retired, whatever. Everybody thinks that he should have never got out and baby Emmanuel would still be alive. So at least they acknowledge that. So we know now that the judge is the judge that come in. Oh, remember, there's another case like that. Need I say Cecil Mills? Any of y'all know who that is? I had the pleasure of having a conversation with him. Anyway, we won't get into any of that. We're sticking to the stuff right here. We're sticking to California right now. California. Overall, confident in his evidence. Yeah, lacking community. Yeah, I agree. But I think they are confident in what they have. And I do think that they have a lot of evidence. I've been told that. I've been told that before things come out. I don't know how true. Like I said, very careful with the things that I put out when I put them out. And I think that they really, like he said, they have children, they have grandchildren, and they really want this case solved as well. But like he said, Emmanuel, and they have to have evidence of this, but Emmanuel was abused long before this happened. He said that with confidence. So whatever led them to that, hey, they got it. I mean, they got it. And they're still working, in my opinion. Both counties are handling this. They're working together. And both counties have very high tech, stuff. I mean, and that's what they should do. They should work together. And yes, I agree. They do. I feel with confidence, I can say with the fact, they do know more than they said in this presser. They do know more than they said. but I don't think they want to jeopardize anything at this point. And he said, nobody's made a confession. So there has been no confession. Okay, so what's the point that they took Jake out the other day? Well, I already had a live on that. I guess y'all will have to go back and catch that live. I put some laws in there too. Other than Jake maybe sending them out on a wild goose chase. But there's reasons. They can't just load you up and say, okay, let's go on a field trip, honey. You want to get out? No, don't think so. There was a reason for that. I'm telling y'all, there was a reason that they did that. So they have spent hundreds of hours on this case. And I think they will continue on up until the day of trial, no matter what. Uh-oh. Hold on. What is this? Oh my God. Hold on a minute. Okay. So I didn't want to knock anything off. I guess my feather-like paper that I was writing on was a little bit too heavy to lay on my computer. Whoops. Sorry. But they said they had a lot of evidence, and that is only to be played in court, not public, which I agree with that. I do agree with that. He said, or the other man, now I can't remember, he said there is a lot of witnesses who is talking. So they got witnesses. What kind? I don't know. Could it be people at the house, at the home, family members, neighbors? It don't matter as long as they got them. Smiley don't care. Smiley don't care. As long as they got them. There's going to be a lot of guessing, though. They said, again, they're not going for no plea bargain. They are going for justice, period. I found it interesting. They said Jake called the police about that CPS report that was made on both of them. So either it wasn't on him and he got himself all tangled up in it by calling the law because the CPS came out, or it was both of them, and when CPS come out, he called the police and made a report, or made a report when the police come out, and we won't know until trial what is going on there. But there's no doubt both of them have abuse, period. And that's hopefully will be all tied in a little pretty bow through all this stuff. Again, as we see, they have very, very high-tech stuff. They're not selfish. They're working with each other, in my opinion. And they're confident they can get this case taken care of, even if they don't find little Emmanuel's body. And they work swiftly on that, so they have to have some kind of evidence. Now, he did talk about the evidence as far as digital and things like that. So they got stuff, honey. They got stuff. You know, don't think they made an arrest on this case just being sloppy, because they didn't. They didn't. Now, listen, I'll go back and I will edit or add to this title that we'd watched the live press conference. I hope you do share this around. I hope people come in and they listen, because you know, it's always nice to hear what other people say. At least I think it is. This case is already, like I said, one of the most heartbreaking cases ever. And the main thing is we don't know what twists and turns are going to happen next. We have no clue. We absolutely have no clue. You know, just hit the thumbs up, keep it out, keep the story out. Don't let it fade. I'm going to follow this all the way. I thank Dawn. Dawn, thank you so much for giving us tours. And if you have anything else, honey, you email me or anything, and we will put it up there. We will. Because I appreciate you being there and being boots on the ground, you know, but we're not going anywhere. And just email me. And y'all, thank you again. Thumbs up. Thank my mods, my subs, anybody in the bushes, and just keep on keeping on. Check my community posts, because all through the day I do put stuff up, and I share people's things. Everybody don't have to agree. That's fine. But I just want y'all to know the information is out there. I'm trying the very best I can to stay up with this coverage and everything. Let me see here. Hold on. There was something I want to say. There's something that always catches my eye. I thought CPS was the home after they took. They were. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if he called. I don't know how that came in about he called the cops. But that was the day before. I think it was the day before they were arrested. So yes, they were. But all of that will play out in court. It just will. But keep baby Emmanuel in your prayers. And I'm going to ask that everybody, I'll report some on what's going on in Hendersonville, Tennessee, or Gallatin today. I know Seth is out there all week, so maybe I'll have a little downtime. I mean, I'll keep up with this story as well, but maybe I will. I've already put some videos out. Seth is up there working his butt off in the hot sun in front of Sumner County Sheriff's Office. And, you know, if anybody gets a chance and is up there, go up there and say, hey, stand by Seth, and, you know, stand for Sebastian, and just say all the prayers for all these kids. I love y'all. I will see y'all in a bit. Go eat you some lunch. Go do what you do. And I will see y'all later today. And thank you again. Thank you again. I'll see you in the streets. YouTube streets, that is. Bye, y'all.